Well, let's go now to NBC News Washington correspondent Yamiche Alcindor. So, Yamiche, sources in the Harris campaign are saying she will call President-elect Trump to concede and that she is planning to deliver a speech later today. What do you think we will hear from her? What does she need to say to the American people and the millions of people who supported her?
Well, I can tell you in talking to Harris aides that they're preparing for her to speak at 4 p.m. at Howard University, of course, that being her alma mater, which she had hoped to have a victory party, which, of course, now this is going to be a concession speech. My understanding is that she's going to do what she hopes all presidential candidates would do if they lose, which is that she's going to say she lost this election, that she believes in American democracy, that she's going to be part of a peaceful transfer of power, and that America and its voters have spoken. I should tell you that I've been talking to a number of Harris officials, and they tell me that she is spending this morning and this afternoon working with her team on this concession speech. I was told that she didn't spend a lot of time working on a concession speech or a victory speech because she spent a lot of time, her team as well, on an uncertainty speech. They thought that the results would not come in this early, so they were preparing to tell Americans to hold on, that they needed to make sure all the votes were counted. Of course, now she's going to be delivering a much different speech.
A much different speech. We've seen the gears really shift in a dramatic fashion overnight. And it's interesting, Yamiche, because I was specifically looking at North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Georgia, like so many others among those 7 states. But Harris underperformed in those crucial battleground states that President Biden won back in 2020. What is the Harris campaign's takeaway?
The Harris campaign's takeaway, and I should say I'm talking to people that are also close to the Harris campaign, is that they just needed to do better, and they didn't. If you look at and you're putting it up for North Carolina, you have Trump plus 0.3. You look at Georgia, Trump up 2.3. Pennsylvania, Trump up 2.3, Wisconsin, Trump up 0.8 on all of these different numbers. And I think we should just let people take in those numbers for a moment. It really shows that Trump overperformed in all of these battleground states that we're talking about. And the Harris campaign, I think and Democrats are doing a lot of sort of soul searching this morning on what this really means. There's some feeling of whether or not she should have talked more about the economy. She should have maybe talked less about him being a democracy, a threat to democracy. I also talked to someone just a few moments ago who said Democrats really should have been more hands on deck here. Some people wondering whether or not President Joe Biden should have dropped out earlier, not been even allowed by his party to run again. Others saying that maybe he should have been used more and been on the campaign trail talking to the base voters that he did perform well with in the past, thinking of older voters, thinking of union voters. So just a lot of questioning and a big autopsy being written here by Democrats, even now in these first few hours while they're still waiting for Vice President Harris to come out and concede.
Which really makes me think about that word that President-elect Trump used last night, which was reconciliation and a realignment. The question is, what does that realignment not only look like for the Republican Party, but what does now that realignment look like for Democrats in response? Yamiche Alcindor joining us live from our Washington, D.C. bureau. Yamiche, thank you.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.